At first glance, it looks harmless. A big, sleepy, roly-poly vegetarian, dozing in a warm river, with birds perched on its back. But that impression could get you killed. This gentle-looking giant is widely considered the most dangerous large land animal in Africa, blamed for more human deaths than lions or leopards. And it is full of surprises. It lives in water, yet it cannot swim, or even float. It appears to sweat blood, but it is not blood. And its closest living relative is an animal you would never guess. Stick around, because you will never see this lazy river horse the same way again. Quick favor first. Tap like and subscribe. It tells the platform this content deserves a bigger audience and keeps these episodes coming. Done? Let's meet the giant. The hippopotamus is the third largest land mammal alive, behind only elephants and white rhinos. A large male can weigh as much as 4,500 kilograms, or 9,900 pounds. That is heavier than a car. Its skin can be around 5 centimeters, or 2 inches thick. The name hippopotamus comes from the Greek words for river horse, although hippos are not related to horses at all. They live a double life across the rivers and lakes of sub-Saharan Africa. During the hottest part of the day, they rest in water to stay cool. Then, after sunset, they haul themselves onto land and spend the night grazing. A hippo may eat around 40 kilograms, or 88 pounds of grass in one night. That sounds like a lot, but for an animal weighing several tons, it is actually a surprisingly light meal. Now for the first major surprise. An animal that spends most of its life in water cannot actually swim. It cannot even float. A hippo is simply too dense. Its heavy body sinks toward the bottom. So instead of swimming, it walks. On the riverbed, a hippo strolls, runs, and pushes itself forward with powerful movements of its legs. It bounces off the bottom, drifts through the water, and sinks back down again. It is less like swimming and more like a slow-motion underwater gallop. For something so heavy, the movement can look strangely graceful, almost like an enormous underwater ballet dancer. Its eyes, ears, and nostrils are positioned high on top of its head. This allows the hippo to see, hear, and breathe, while almost its entire body remains hidden beneath the surface. And it gets even stranger. A hippo can sleep underwater. While it rests on the riverbed, an automatic reflex brings it up to the surface for air and then lets it sink back down again. The hippo does not even need to wake up. It can nap at the bottom of a river, rise for a breath, and return to sleep without consciously thinking about it. So how does a grass-eating animal that cannot swim become one of the most feared animals in Africa? Because a hippo is astonishingly powerful, extremely fast, and fiercely protective of its space. Male hippos defend stretches of water. Mothers defend their calves. If a person, boat, or predator crosses the wrong boundary, the sleepy-looking giant can transform in seconds. Its mouth can open to an angle of nearly 150 degrees. The lower canine teeth may grow up to 50 centimeters, or 20 inches long. Its bite is estimated to be roughly 3 times as powerful as a lion's, strong enough to cause devastating injuries. Hippos have attacked and capsized small boats, especially when people unknowingly move between them and deeper water. And escaping on land is not as easy as it sounds. Despite weighing several tons, a hippo can reach around 30 kilometers per hour, or nearly 20 miles per hour, in a short burst. Recent research has even shown that, while moving quickly, a hippo can briefly lift all 4 feet off the ground. It looks too heavy, too round and too slow. But it can run faster than most people. One honest note. You will often hear that hippos kill around 500 people every year. That number is repeated widely, but there is no rigorous global count, so it should not be treated as a confirmed statistic. What is not in doubt is that hippos are far more dangerous than they appear. The safety rule used by people who work near them is simple. Never stand between a hippo and the water, and never get between a mother and her calf. Now for another surprise, the famous blood sweat. When a hippo rests on a riverbank, a reddish, oily liquid can begin to spread across its skin. From a distance, it looks as though the animal is sweating blood. People believed exactly that for centuries. But it is not blood. And technically, it is not sweat either, because hippos do not have true sweat glands. What the hippo produces is far more useful. It makes its own skincare. The secretion begins almost colorless, then turns orange-red before gradually becoming brown. It contains pigments that absorb ultraviolet light, helping protect the hippo's extremely sensitive skin from the powerful African sun. The oily coating also helps keep the skin moist, reducing the risk of drying and cracking. And laboratory studies suggest that compounds in the secretion can slow the growth of certain bacteria. That may help explain how hippos can carry cuts and bite wounds while spending hours in muddy, bacteria-filled water. In other words, the hippo produces its own sunscreen, moisturizer, and possible antiseptic, all directly from its skin. But the strangest surprise may be hidden in its family tree. What is a hippo actually related to? Its rounded body, short legs, and broad snout make it look like an enormous pig. For a long time, scientists grouped hippos closely with pigs and other hoofed mammals. But genetic and fossil evidence revealed something astonishing. The hippo's closest living relatives are not pigs. They are whales and dolphins. Hippos and cetaceans belong to the same larger branch of the mammal family tree. Tens of millions of years ago, their evolutionary lines shared a common ancestor. One branch became increasingly adapted to life in the water and eventually produced whales and dolphins. The other branch led to the hippopotamus. This does not mean that hippos evolved from modern whales, or that whales evolved from modern hippos. They are evolutionary cousins, descended from an older shared ancestor. But once you know the connection, some of the hippo's behavior begins to feel less surprising. It spends most of the day in water. It mates in water. It gives birth in water. A mother can even nurse her calf beneath the surface. When you watch a hippo sink and move along a riverbed, you are not watching an overgrown pig struggling to swim. You are watching the closest living land relative of whales and dolphins, an animal whose history has been tied to water for millions of years. For all its strength, however, the hippo is not untouchable. The common hippopotamus is classified as vulnerable. Across parts of Africa, populations are threatened by shrinking habitats, conflict with people, and illegal or unregulated hunting for meat and for the ivory found in their large canine teeth. Rivers and wetlands are being altered, while expanding farms and settlements bring humans and hippos into closer contact. And when a water source shrinks, more hippos may be forced into the same limited space, increasing competition and conflict. The giant that fears almost nothing in the water has one threat it cannot charge, bite, or intimidate away: us. So the next time you see a hippo resting quietly in a river, remember what you are really looking at. Not a lazy blob, but one of Africa's most dangerous large animals. A giant that cannot swim, yet rules the water. An animal that sinks to the riverbed, sleeps underwater, runs faster than most humans, and produces its own natural sunscreen. And beneath all of that thick skin is a family connection stretching from Africa's rivers to the whales of the open ocean. The hippo looks simple only from a distance. Up close, it is one of the strangest, most powerful, and most misunderstood animals on Earth. Hiding in plain sight. If this changed how you see the hippo, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which creature we should explore next. See you in the next Creature Expo.